Former Jamaican Prime Minister Bruce Golding has launched a blistering attack on U.S. President Donald Trump over his conduct of international affairs and his aggression towards Venezuela. The former Prime Minister broke his silence in an opinion piece issued to the media. In criticizing Trump, Golding warns that the international community is facing the most serious threat to global stability in more than 8 decades. Ricardo Brooks reports on the unprecedented intervention from the former head of Jamaica's government.
Art Bruce Golding served as Jamaica's Prime Minister from 2007 to 2011. Former Prime Ministers are known for usually staying above the fray and being diplomatic when commenting on national or international affairs. But this morning, clearly Golding has had enough. He describes the sitting U.S. president as a megalomaniac whose inclinations are mercurial and virulent. He accuses Donald Trump of endangering the global rule-based order that has been in place since World War II. Golding says Trump has neutered critical institutions such as the World Trade Organization, put the future of the security alliance NATO in doubt, and hobbled the response to climate change. The former Jamaican Prime Minister says by summarily executing people in the Caribbean Sea by military strikes, Trump's America has arrogated to itself the right to be judge, jury, and executioner. This, he says, constitutes a redefinition of the rule of law. Golding wasn't done yet. He accuses Trump of blatant hypocrisy. Golding says although there is convincing evidence that Nicolas Maduro did steal the 2024 election in Venezuela, he wants to know how that's any different from what he pointedly describes as Donald Trump's attempt to steal the 2020 U.S. election. The former Jamaican Prime Minister says Trump's warning that Colombia, Cuba, and Mexico could be next on his radar of intervention amounts to a blazing audacity. According to Golding, Trump is like a raging bull charging through halfway tree, mowing down everyone and everything in its path. He says the silence of the international community has bbeen disheartening. Golding is warning that Trump's behavior is a crisis for CARICOM. According to the former Jamaican leader, no head of government in the Caribbean is safe. He says any of them could be snatched by the United States in the dead of night, just as Maduro was. Golding took particular aim at Trinidad's Prime Minister, Kamla Persad-Bissessar, who has twice publicly broken with regional neighbors in support of the Trump administration. Mr. Golding is warning her that she may soon come to find that the United States is actually the unreliable partner. The elder Jamaican statesman is also warning the people of the Caribbean that recolonization is upon the region. He says the future of the world now rests in the hands of the American people and what they do in the next presidential election. The former Prime Minister ends his missive on a sad note. He says at 78 years old, he was hoping to leave the world better than he found it. He says much of the improvements he has seen in Jamaica gave him some hope that he would go to his grave with some satisfaction. But he says he's now deeply troubled as things are falling apart. Ricardo Brooks for Nationwide News.
Save yourselves. That's the message Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness has for gunmen in this new year.
I've also, from this platform, appealed to the gunmen and the criminals to spare the lives of the innocent people, the victims. And I've oftentimes said that sometimes the conversation and the narrative focuses more on the criminals rather than on the victims. Today, I appeal to the criminals and the gunmen and those who are involved in criminal activities and those who have guns to save yourselves. Turn away from violence. Put away the gun. In fact, turn it in.
The Prime Minister was speaking on Wednesday at the National Day of Prayer service in Portmore, St. Catherine. His words come as Jamaica recorded its lowest murder tally in over 30 years in 2025, 673. That's a 42% decline compared to 2024. Dr. Holness's words also come amid concerns from various quarters about the number of persons fatally shot by the security forces so far this year. Indicom reports that 311 people were killed by the security forces in 2024, an increase of 64%. The Prime Minister is bemoaning the number of young men who make up the number of perpetrators and victims of violent crime.
And I ask the church to pray for them so that their hearts will be touched, so they will turn away from criminal activity. Pray for them. It must be said that every life in Jamaica is valuable. Every life is valuable. And it pains my heart to see our young men, because 95% of those who are doing the killings and those who are killed are young men. Pains my heart to see our young men being killed. So I pray for them to stop killing, and I pray for them to save themselves. That's just the reality.
Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness. 4 of the 6 men designated as either wanted or persons of interest by the St. Elizabeth Police have turned themselves in. In an update on Wednesday, the police say the men surrendered to the Black River Criminal Investigation Branch on Tuesday. The 4 are Shane Brown, who was wanted for murder, Michael McNeish, Janoy Linton, and Sean Wint. Still being sought are Andre Blackwood, who's wanted for assault at common law and the possession of a prohibited weapon, and a man known only as Findo of Rice Peace District in the parish. Findo is being sought for questioning in relation to the murder of Dario Smith in Lacovia. They are being urged to report immediately to the police. Anyone with information on their whereabouts is being asked to contact the Black River Police or the nearest police station. A sound system selector is the latest person shot dead by the security forces since the start of the year. He has been identified as 44-year-old late Nemhard, otherwise called Big Adon. Nemhard was shot during an alleged standoff with the police in St. Elizabeth on Tuesday. The incident occurred in the Hodgesland community near Black River. Reports indicate that he challenged the police, who had to call in reinforcements. The police say a Browning 9mm pistol with 2 rounds of ammunition was seized. The Independent Commission of Investigations, Indicom, says 16 people have been killed by the police over the first 7 days this year. Supreme Court Judge Justice Dale Palmer has dismissed the prosecution's proposal for the high-profile trial of the Tesha faction of the St. Catherine-based Clansman gang to be pushed back to June. He declared in court on Wednesday that the proposed delay was untenable given the significant time and resources already invested in the case. 25 accused, including the alleged gang leader, Tesha Miller, are before the court, charged under the anti-gang legislation. Roby and Williams reports.
The trial was expected to begin on Wednesday, but the proceedings stalled after prosecutors disclosed that critical evidentiary material remains outstanding. These include reports from the Communication Forensic and Cybercrime Division, CFCD, forensic certificates, and DNA summary reports. Evidence requested from telecommunications providers is also pending. Prosecutors had argued that up to 12 weeks would be needed to complete disclosure, given the scale and complexity of the case, which includes 99 potential witnesses. But presiding Judge Justice Dale Palmer ruled that while the outstanding DNA and cyber forensic material are matters of major concern, only a brief adjournment will be granted. He insisted the matter must begin during the Hillary court term, emphasizing that ongoing delays were unacceptable. He ordered senior law enforcement officials to attend a court on Friday to account for the delays. Justice Palmer further directed that the Commissioner of Corrections appear to address complaints that defense attorneys are unable to properly consult with their clients due to restrictions on electronic access in correctional facilities. That challenge, he said, goes to the heart of fairness. The matter needs to get started, Justice Palmer stated firmly, warning that a prolonged postponement would deny the accused their day in court and squander court resources. The case returns to court on Friday, January 9, when the outstanding issues are expected to be addressed. Roby Ann Williams for Nationwide News.
Chief Justice Brian Sykes says with proper planning and a stronger collaboration with the Ministry of Justice, long-standing problems relating to the maintenance and rehabilitation of courthouses across the country can be effectively tackled. He was responding to recent remarks by Justice Minister Delroy Chuck, who attributed the deteriorating state of several court facilities to lengthy and complicated procurement processes.
within the context in which you are operating. The procurement issues are there. I will never say they are not there, but you have to find a way around it. That is to say, plan and start early to get it done. And that is what I am suggesting. It doesn't mean that you're going to be knocking down every court building, but certainly some aspects of it can be done on a year-by-year basis. So, for example, you could say for Court X, you are going to do all the electrical wiring, for example. You may come back the following year and you say you are going to be doing the plumbing. It doesn't mean that you have to do every single thing in that year. Proper planning and the cooperation with the courts, then you can get a number of things done. That is just my view of the matter.
According to the Chief Justice, the nation's courts have been in a poor state for several years. He's again making the call for the judiciary to be given direct control over its budget. Currently, the Court Administration Division, CAD, is responsible for court maintenance. Minister Chuck recently stated that maintenance efforts have not been satisfactory in some locations. Chief Justice Sykes points out that despite constraints, the CAD consistently spends 95% of its maintenance allocation annually.
There's no indication, as far as I am aware, from the Auditor General or from any of the oversight bodies that our money has been misspent. So what we are saying then is that we have shown that we are effective and efficient stewards and can properly account for the money that we have received. And so we have done what we can within our budget. And as I say, we do not return millions of dollars every year.
As does the Justice Ministry.
Precisely. If you give us more of this, then we should be able to do more. And nobody is saying that the problem is going to be solved in 1 year or 2 years. But certainly, if you have a plan, we believe that more can be done within the limitations that you have.
Brian Sykes, Chief Justice, speaking on Nationwide at 5 on Wednesday. Schools where students will be doing a modified approach to the upcoming CXC exams will be known by January 14. That's according to Director of Operations at CXT, Dr. Nicole Manning.
Schools in